Okay, alright. Should be back. I'm gonna have to move my chairs a little bit. Okay. Then I think we're gonna do an audio check because that's what we always do. Okay, good. I can hear myself. Excellent. Oh no, did I not change? Oh no, it does say magician. Oh, OBS is tweaking out on me again. Alright, okay. There we go. Let me just refresh this. Alright, okay. There we go. Alright. Thank you kindly for getting the trick list up and running, Chan. Let me also get my trick list up here. And then thank you for the request, Chan. And of course, let me get ready to rumble. And I need to find the Twitch deck. Hang on. Where did I put you? Twitch deck. There you are. Okay. And actually, let me also, because last time we had camera issues, right, with this. So let me see. Okay. I think here's good. So hold on, I just gotta make some space on this side. Oh, and also if anybody's been sitting around for a while, you're not hydrated, please feel free to hydrate. And I just dropped a thing. Oh. I don't know if anybody has the option, but if you have the option to not get old, just don't get old. Alright. Okay. And then I do need to put on some cheating gloves. Oh man. I'm all over the place. Fell, nothing fell. That's right, nothing fell. Thanks for getting that hydrate, even though I didn't actually sip. Okay, now we're good. Now we're good. All right, let me open up the queue so I can see the queue, and then, I mean, I guess I can see it on my screen, but and now we have to put on cheating gloves. There we go. So I've had a crazy week, guys. Let me tell you about the week after we do some magic, but so I will just start out with my daughter graduated pre-K, and so she'll be going to kindergarten later this year. And there was a whole pre-K ceremony, pre-K graduation ceremony, where like all the kids sang songs, um, and they accepted their diploma and right, Bert, kindergarten hype. That's right. And the other thing was that I think I've mentioned that my kids started reading. So today I was watching K-pop videos because I was like, oh, I want to put on some K-pop videos on the screen. And she started reading the song titles to me, and I'm like, you can read those song titles? And you know, a bunch of them are pretty easy, but the fact that she could start identifying them and she's like, I know what that song is called. And I'm like, oh my god, you know what that song is called? So I was so proud of my daughter when she started reading the song titles to me earlier today. So, all right. Let's see here. Well, I guess I get to warm up with Little Devil, and so let's see here. Let's find a bunch of cards. Let's find a bunch of twos. You won't mix up the Queen of Clubs with a bunch of twos, right? She can read Hangul already? Lol. No, no, no. It is obviously the romanization of the song names, but also um, that Bert, that was funny. Yeah, I wouldn't even say I know how to read Hangul, but I've read that comic strip and I can read some of the like I can sound out like a bunch of the K-pop band names and stuff. But okay, all right. So here is Chan the Magic Man, and we are going to be doing the trick called Little Devil. And when we place Chan the Magic Man here in the second level of hell, we are going to be able to let Chan escape because Chan knows how to get out. Chan's going to get in the elevator, press the elevator button, and the elevator will go up to the topmost level. Andre says, "Hi, Crazy. Happy Father's Day. Thanks for the ding." And here is Chan the Magic Man. And so here's the thing, though. The the devils will try and pull Chan back and say, "No, no, no, you can't leave yet." And so Chan is going to be put into the third level of hell for a second, third, fourth, fifth. And of course, Chan's going to know to get in the elevator, press the elevator button. And of course, the elevator will go from 3 to 2 to 1. And Gibson Lens has just got. Oh, that's cool. Did you get a 10 stream streak again? Did you? I'm actually. I would be curious to know if you got the 450 points a second time, right? Because did you get that? You got that during the Hades stream, right? That's kind of interesting. Did that double trigger? I'm super curious. But anyway, and so now Chan here has arrived up at the top to try to escape from the little devil. But of course, the devils are like, "No, no, no, you must come back." And now they put Chan deeper, not just the second or the third, first, second, third, and fourth. Chan is going to get put here into the fourth level of hell. But Chan knows how to get out. So Chan is going to end up. Boom, ding, there you go. And of course, well, some people think that Chan has been hiding in here the entire time. But no, Chan has not been hiding in here the entire time. Chan is right here, and now the devils are going to pull him back, place him here in the bottommost level of hell. And of course, Chan will know to get in the elevator, press the elevator button, and go from 5 to 4 to 3 to 2 to 1, topmost level. Great timing, Chan. Thank you for the ding. And of course, here, I'll wait for that to clear. Whoops. Chan the Magic Man. There you go. And that, my friends, is a warm up. All right. Welcome in, Andres. Andres says, "Hi, Crazy. Happy Father's Day." Thank you, Andres. I had a Father's Day today. Let's see here. But yeah, thank you kindly for the claps. Chan the Magic Man, Felden Kane. All right, let's see. Well, it is still early, and I know we did technically shout out everybody out during the Hades stream, but let's do it again. So, guys, you're not following our friend and mod Chan the Magic Man. Please give Chan the Magic Man a follow. Guys, you're not following our friend Charlie's Beats. Please give Charlie's Beats a follow. Guys, if you're not following our friend Gibson Lens, our friend and mod Gibson Lens, please give Gibson Lens a follow. If you're not following our friend Durkee Blaine, please give Durkee Blaine a follow. If you're not following our friend and mod Felden Kane, aka Todd, please give Felden Kane a follow. And then let's see here. Andres, you streaming yet? All right. Okay. All right. Thanks for shoutouts, everybody. All right. Cool. Awesome. Como? Oh, I was just asking if you were streaming yet, Andres. Because, if you are streaming, you let us know. We'll shout you out. Oh, okay. No, no? Okay, not yet? All right. Should I redeem tarot cards and ask when will Andres start streaming? Is that the question that I should ask? No, not yet. Okay. um, right. Okay. Yeah, it's been a crazy week. So my kid has graduated pre-K. She's still in like the school for the summer because but we took her out of school for Fridays, so she's in school Monday through Thursday, and then I have her on Friday, and so there's probably zero chance that I'll be streaming Friday during the day until kindergarten actually starts. But it could be a good ask, says Andres. Andres asks, "How are you, Feldon?" And Feldon Kate says, "Doing great." Awesome, awesome. Anyway, happy Father's Day to anybody who celebrates. Presumably, everybody here has a father somehow, some way. We won't necessarily get into the details if there's really complicated situations, but 90-second ad break. Gibson Land says, "Not anymore." Not anymore, Bert. I'm sorry. Let me give you a hug. A big, warm, fuzzy bear hug on the mouth. I know that's probably a little too over the top, but you know, I don't know anybody who's ever rejected a big, warm, fuzzy bear hug on the mouth. That's probably to say that I don't know how many people have ever offered a warm, fuzzy bear hug on the mouth. Riff VP, welcome in. How's it going, Riff VP? Good to see you. Andre says, "I'm glad to hear you're doing great, Feldon." Guys, you're not following our new friend Riff VP. Riff VP rated in here a couple times, and we rated out to Riff VP. Was that last week? But Riff VP was doing music, and also Riff VP is a friend of Pinecones. So Riff VP says, "Good, just got done. I was tempted to raid you again." Ha ha. I mean, look, you are welcome to, and but no obligation. You know, it's up to you, whatever you'd like. But thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you coming in. Speaking of, oh yeah, actually, we are currently in an ad break. But if you guys are seeing, oh, I see you have Turbo. So, but the queue is empty. If anybody would like to request any magic, feel free. The ad break is finishing now. Thanks, Sarybot. But yeah, so that was the beginning part of the week, and then on Friday we had a local concert because our local town does a summer concert series. And for anybody who didn't know, I have one kind of esoteric favorite Disney movie. I think I've mentioned it on stream before, but does anybody know what my favorite Disney movie is? Hint, it's kind of fitting for today. But so this particular concert on Friday was a jazz musician, and I thought, and I didn't hear the name correctly, so I thought it was uh, a jazz musician named Judas Healy, and I'm like, and I'm trying to search up the person, and it's like, wait, he's like made music, he's won awards. It's like, how come I'm not getting him? Apparently, his name is Judah Sealy, and they were just saying, like, but anyway, Riffy P says Little Mermaid. All right, I mean, good guess. That's not the one, but Gibson Lynn says you've suggested Up before. I mean, I like Up. That's a good movie, but that's not my favorite Disney movie. So my favorite Disney movie is actually. I'm going to type in the chat as well. My favorite Disney movie is a Goofy movie. I just realized if some people are who's chat, you might have seen it in chat before I said it. But anyway, a Goofy movie. But for anybody who doesn't know, a Goofy movie is about Goofy and his son Max going on a road trip adventure. Riffy P says, classic. Andre says, great movie. Thank you very much. Because most people are like, oh, that's like a deep cut, or like nobody knows what this is. So you like spray cheese? No, I do not like spray cheese. Spray cheese, not my favorite. I like cutting cheese from a block. I don't even like pre-shredded cheese, even though I have to purchase it because my daughter likes it. So, um, but no. So no spray cheese. I think it's not a deep cut anymore. Maybe. Quote, I like cutting cheese, says Felton. I I did say those words, didn't I? I did put those words together, and I said it. Max's friend was big into spray cheese, though, right? Yes, that's correct. I forgot what Max's friend is named, but yeah, his friend likes the cheese. But then also at the end of the movie, when he drops the cheese whiz, one of the other girls reaches for it too, and his friend's hand touches hers, and they find a love of spray cheese or cheese whiz, if you guys know what that is. Definitely at the time it wasn't super popular. Yeah, it was not very well super known. Anyway, the reason why I'm bringing up this movie, besides the fact that it's Father's Day, is because Judah Seeley played a song from this Disney movie, and he kind of led up with like, oh hey, he played like a quick short like medley of different Disney songs, and then he inserted like K-pop Demon Hunters in there just so any of the kids in the audience would be like, oh my god, like. But then afterwards he was like, now I'm gonna play a cover of Eye to Eye from a Goofy movie, and I'm like, I know this movie. That's like my favorite Disney movie. And he was like, anybody seen the movie? And I'm literally the only person in the crowd yelling, yeah! Like, needless to say, my wife was embarrassed and she told me, shh. I'm just like, but I like the movie. Like, come on. Riffy P says, ah, that's great. Yeah, so that was a good Friday. All right. Okay. Let me throw in a trick. And we will just do one really quick while we are chatting. Okay, let's see here. All right, 4 coins, 4 cards, and we will make the coins teleport from corner to corner. And so we are going to go ahead and do the Star Trek transporter thing, and we'll make them jump from here to there. Don't blink. It's going to happen fast. 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, and 9. Thank you kindly for the transporter, and actually this so happens to be directly over, like, perfect angle. There we go. Thank you for that. And then, of course, we've been following it up with the cardless version, and so here we'll line it back up into the rectangle, and we're going to go ahead and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, and 4, and then we're going to, of course, do the finale. I used to call this the new finale, and then I did it like for months, and then I'm like, we've been doing it for so long. I can't call it the new one anymore. And that, my friends, is the cardless coin matrix. I'm gonna give myself credit for both, of course. Thank you kindly for the claps, Felden Kane, Andres, and the applause, and thank you for the transporter, Felden Kane. So yeah, that was Friday. So yesterday, I had a magic gig, and this was a couple of firsts. It was my very first 4-hour gig. So I had never done one this long. My last longest gig was 3 hours. So this is the longest new record. 4 solid hours of strolling walk around magic. Um, so how did I prepare? I just practiced a handful of tricks like the day before. I packed 8 decks of cards. I didn't know how many people were going to be there. I didn't know how quickly I was going to go through people. I didn't know how hard it would be to find people, or if everybody was just going to be coming to me. So I brought 8 just in case. Uh, Full disclosure, I didn't need all 8. I needed like 3. So that's okay. Better to be over prepared. Um, and this was a. And if you guys had heard I had alluded to it a few streams ago, but this was the 4 hour gig at a cannabis dispensary, and they were having their business anniversary, like business opening anniversary or whatever. And so there was a stage with musical acts. There was some comedy even. Um, they had a lot of vendors selling all sorts of things in and around like the entire plaza. So like the store is in a plaza. They basically took over the entire plaza, and I'm like, whoa, this thing is bigger than I thought. So, um, and like when I first got there, I felt like everybody that I did magic for, they were like fine, but then towards the second half, I'm like, obviously everybody's having a great time. I might not have necessarily needed to do magic for the second half, and just I could have just been entertaining or just been like, whoa, because some people were definitely enjoying themselves quite a bit. Um, so yeah, my entire set list consists of maybe about 10 tricks. I mean, I did do a couple of tricks like one time, so maybe like 12 or 14 tricks total, but I basically just rinse and repeated a handful of tricks over and over again um, for the entire 4 hours. But it was super fun because met a lot of cool people, and just like I ended up having people sign cards, and then I gave them to them because I'm like, what am I going to do with them afterwards? Beth kind of sort of, welcome in. How's it going, Beth? There's something delightful, loud sawing next. Oh, sorry. There's some delightful, loud sawing next door on a Sunday evening. Also, hello. Well, welcome in, Beth. Uh, my sympathies on the fact that there's some loud sawing next door and hammering. I'm not sure what time zone you're in, but the time zone that I'm in is pretty late. So even if you are a few hours later, I mean, the earliest it could be is like 7 or 8, right? Riffy P says, "Gotta take off for the night. Actually, might go play some Mecha Chameleon. Maybe stream, maybe not. Ha! Yeah, no problem, Riff VP. You gotta do what you gotta do. But I totally understand the urge sometimes to play a game. So, uh, best of luck on your either attempt or run, or I don't know what kind of game Mecha Chameleon is, or making progress in the game. I guess is a normal thing. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're so Beth, if you're I guess if they're trying to do a project really quick and finish it up before Monday, I guess that could be why, but like I don't know. That doesn't necessarily excuse them. The one thing that I would say is that if there are kids in nearby houses, they're being awfully inconsiderate, right? So Beth kind of says anytime after 6 is too late. Right, right, right. Because like after I would say after like 7, that could be bedtime for some young kids, right? And so I have way more sympathy for that now than I did, before having kids, basically. Thank you for this heat map, whoever left it here. Delicious. Okay, they couldn't have done that this earlier. I mean, that is the correct question. Okay, so I'm gonna level with you guys. I have a neighbor, literally a next door neighbor, and for years my wife and I didn't understand why, but he would begin mowing the lawn after 8 p.m. Even in like the summer months, it would be basically starting to get dark, if not dark, like 15 minutes after he started mowing the lawn. And we're like, why are you mowing? I mean, we didn't ask him. So this is one of those neighbors that my wife would say is a crazy neighbor. We even gave this neighbor a code name in our house. Shh, I hope that this neighbor never finds this particular stream because we're talking about him. But um, yeah, it is a Sunday night. Unbelievable. Oh, yeah, oh yeah, yes. Our neighbor would actually do this after 8 p.m. during the week, like during the weeknight too. And it's just like, what? So his code name in our house, and we've had to stop using the code name because of the kid, but before the kid was around, we would call him Gladys. And so anytime that grandma, or like my kid's grandma, so my mother-in-law, or my wife would refer to Gladys, it was always this particular neighbor. And this neighbor has come over to my house and has accused me of maybe needing to owe him money because during a windstorm, which has become more more frequent over here, the tree limb, apart, not even a full limb, it was just like a big stick basically, fell and hit the back of his car. And I'm like, why didn't you? First of all, why didn't you park your car in your driveway? Or not in your driveway, in your garage. And he said, "Oh, it's super messy." And I'm like, "Okay, well, first of all, I've seen into his house through my upstairs windows, and it looks like he looks like a hoarder, right? So, looks like a hoarder. And we know that his garage had been filled for many years. He might have gotten it cleared out a little bit in the last couple years or so, but this was like way earlier, and like we did not get off on the right foot. And to be fair, we're still not like, I would say we're not on a good relationship with this neighbor. But so he accuses and says, "Oh hey," and I look up like the state laws, and it's like if there's a tree and you just park near it and it's wind, it wasn't like my negligence because the tree was unhealthy or I cut into the tree. Then it's just whatever. His car insurance should take care of it. And I'm like, all right, perfect. But he decided to accuse me of that before doing any sort of due diligence or research. And maybe I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that maybe he's too old to use new technology and search for stuff. This is partially why I feel okay talking about this on stream, because I highly doubt that he would be okay coming onto Twitch and hanging out and coming to my chat specifically during his mowing the lawn time. I don't know. It's just Beth kind of sort of says, first of all, don't be a hoarder. Yeah, yeah. First of all, don't be a hoarder. And then second of all, yes, I know it's an illness. I'm just saying. I mean, I think it depends. I'm willing to give each individual, like, why do they hoard things, I guess. I have to deal with this sort of person sometimes too. Oh, my sympathy. Chan the Magic Man says, I'd ban him, says Chan. Thank you for the Praha Victus redeemed applause. Welcome in, Praha Victus. By the way, the queue is empty. If anybody would like to request any tricks, feel free. I know, I've just been yapping. We've only done like 3 tricks, so. But if anybody wants to see some magic, feel free. But yeah, I was just talking about. Oh, thank you for shouting out Praha Victus. Actually, I'm not sure if I'm familiar. Do I follow Praha Victus? So let me just double check. Make sure I'm following here. I don't think I am following, so let me give Praha Victus a follow. Snowy City, welcome in. How's it going? What time zone are you in? Um, you're asking me or Beth? I assume me, but I'm in the Eastern U.S. Eastern time zone. Hi, Snowy City. Welcome in. How's it going? 90-second ad break is starting. All right. Okay. Oh yeah. For those of you, oh, I do see a request. Oil and water. Excellent. Gotcha. Ditto. Sweet. Yeah. So U.S. Eastern time zone. Represent. Okay. Okay. Let me go ahead and get ready for performing oil and water. Let me see here. Okay. Let's see. Snowy says, I think it's a good time to start cutting the grass now. Oh, okay. So I think my in-laws and my wife would disagree and say that it's time to cut grass months ago, which they have. And honestly, I don't mind cutting the grass, but they've taken upon themselves to not allow me to cut the grass. They basically cut it before I think it's ready to go. So, but anyway, all right. So the ad break is finishing now, and let's go ahead and I'm gonna take a quick sip. All right. Thank you for that request, Chan. And let's go ahead and come down here. All right. So here we have 4 red face cards. I'll leave those right there. 4 black spot cards. And here's what we want to do. I'm going to try and simulate a science experiment that kids might do to show density. And so we're going to have the black be the water, red be the oil, and we're going to intermix them just like this. So here, black, red, black, red, black, and red. And we'll give it a second. Now, when you mix oil and water in real life, they should separate because of the density. So let's go ahead and take a quick look. At the bottom is the black spot card. The top is the red face card. Winters7568, welcome in, Winter. How's it going? Welcome in. Good to see you. Happy Father's Day. Thank you, Winter. Hopefully you're doing well. Good to see you. If we can get a shout out for Winter. Thank you. All of the red face cards have floated up to the top. Thank you for shouting out Winter Chan. And all of the black spot cards are here at the bottom. However, you may have thought, oh, perhaps it was super convenient for the black cards to sink down to the bottom because I started with a black spot card last time. And so that was not that impressive. Well, you know what? This time, instead of starting with a black spot card, let's go ahead and start with a red face card. So here we go. Red, black, red, black, red, black, red, black. And all we have to do is just give it a second to separate. Now before, if you believe the simulation of the experiment worked, the oil should sink down to the bottom and, sorry, the water should sink down to the bottom, the oil should float on top. So black should be at the bottom, red should be on top. However, I started with a red card this time. Did they separate? Well, let's find out. So here we have the topmost top card, red face card. The bottommost bottom card is a black spot card. The next topmost card, red face. The next bottommost card, black spot. The next topmost red. The next bottom is a black spot card, and then the last topmost card is red face, and the bottommost, or the next bottom is black spot card. And thus, the experiment holds. Oil and water do separate. Thank you for that request, Chan the Magic Man. Snowy City says, "Wow, very cool. Thanks, Snowy City." So I think there's a couple of new faces in chat or names, but let me formally introduce myself. Hi, my name is Nam, also known as Crazy Asian, spelled this weird way on Twitch, and I like to do sleight of hand card magic on Sunday nights. I call it Sleight of Hand Sunday. So welcome to Sleight of Hand Sunday. And I like to let chat request tricks. So if you look in chat right now, you'll see a pinned post. That pinned post leads to a StreamerSonglist. I'm not a musician, but I use the Streamer Song List to let my chat request magic tricks. And so if you want to request any of those, you're welcome to. And yeah, so there's no songs, they're all tricks. But yeah, thanks for bringing it back up, Chan. But yeah, so let's see, where was I? Oh, yeah. So my 4 hour gig yesterday at the cannabis dispensary. Super fun time. And met a lot of cool people. I gave out a bunch of business cards. I took a bunch of selfies with people. Normally I wouldn't do that, I think, at an event, but I figured because this is like like a public event, so it was for a business and it was technically open to the public. So I was like, "Oh, okay. All right." And I just figured it would be a good time. Also, I'll probably end up sharing a bunch of these selfies with Instagram, so I'll probably put them up later. But yeah, I think almost everybody held up their playing card, and so yeah, I gave everybody their playing card. So I gave away probably the equivalent of like 1.5 decks of cards, and not everybody took away cards because I did do a bunch of tricks without having people sign them and take them. But yeah, so the good news was that after the gig was done, I just gained a new achievement, and I've basically learned that I can do a 4 hour walk around gig of magic. So that was great. Um, and this occurred in Buffalo, New York, and or like Greater Buffalo. But I don't know if you guys have ever heard of a place called Mighty Taco. Now, Mighty Tacos had expanded to where I live, which is Greater Rochester, New York. But then a bunch of them like kind of died, and they were no longer over here. And I would say they compete with like Taco Bell, and I do still like Mighty Taco better than Taco Bell. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna be hungry. So before the gig, I stopped at a Mighty Taco yesterday. I ordered my typical order, and I'm like, the price came up like super cheap relative to what I thought I was gonna pay. I'm like, why did it come up? And so I just ended up paying for tacos. And then later, I overhear somebody ordering while I'm eating, and they're like, "Oh yeah, can I get the discount tacos today?" I'm like, "There must be some promotion." And I got super lucky because my exact order that I had no idea was going to be a promotion was on sale that day. So I looked it up, and just for yesterday, just for Saturday only, it was like 50% off Mighty Tacos with ground chicken. And I'm like, that's exactly what I ordered. And I'm like, "What? No way." So got super lucky. But yeah, and then today, okay, so actually, before we get to today, and by the way, the queue is empty. If anybody wants to request anything, feel free. But on Thursday, we had a windstorm here. There was a huge windstorm, and it blew down like some power lines. We actually lost power. A lot of places around here lost power for hours. Um, my house lost main grid power for I think probably about 10 hours or so. But we didn't really have to live through not having power that entire time because we have a generator, and so the generator kicked in, and so we really just lost power a few times, but like for less than like a minute. Um, but I was like, all right, so this is like I was really glad that we had invested in a generator a long time ago because that was like one of the reasons why we needed it was because well at the time I worked from home and now I don't have full time employment. I basically so somebody asked me during the gig yesterday. It's like, so is this your full time thing, like doing magic? And I ended up having a heart to heart with them and just telling them like, hey, had a full time employment last year, and it wasn't. It's no longer, and so now I'm doing magic. That's basically what I'm doing. But yeah, so luckily we had the generator, and but I didn't notice this, but my air conditioning and my entire HVAC system did not turn back on. The thermostat was unresponsive. Flaming Hails, welcome in. How's it going? How are you doing, Flaming Hails? Um, so good to see you. Hopefully you're doing well. I hope today was okay. Um, where was I? Oh yeah, so the thermostat didn't turn on, and I was like, what's going on? And then I was too busy like to diagnose because I was getting ready for the 4 hour gig. I was mostly concerned about like the 4 hour gig just because of the endurance of the full 4 hours or whatever. But good news, I actually ended up lasting for a little bit longer than that because I arrived a little bit early and I kind of got started right away. So I probably ended up doing about 4.5 hours because I ended up performing until like until about like 15 minutes past. So it's probably about 4.5 hours I did. Flaming Hail says, I'm good. Knee is hurting a little, but I'm doing good. All right. Well, my sympathies for your knee. Hopefully it gets better. But yeah, I'm glad to hear you're doing good, Flaming Hills. Um, so I actually end up calling the HVAC people today because we have like a plan with them so that if anything goes down, we can call them anytime, and if it sounds severe, they would come out. Luckily, they came out today, and I don't know what happened, but between like the power cutting out and coming back on, my thermostat somehow got fried because everything else appeared to work, and the tech was like, yeah, this seems a little bit weird because that doesn't normally happen. And I'm like, yeah, because we've lost power here and our generator kicked on and it never, like the thermostat never died like that before. And so we ended up having to replace our thermostat today, which luckily that was pretty much the only major problem. And so, um, yeah, it was wild. Today was wild, guys. And of course, I got a card from my kid that she made from school. Happy Father's Day. There was one question. It was like this or that, and one question was like, "Is your dad an Android person or an iPhone person?" And somehow she. So for anybody who's hung out on the stream, you guys know I am opposed to the Apple ecosystem. I'm not on iPhone. I'm not on Apple anything. And somehow my kid said iPhone, that I'm an iPhone person. I'm like, no. I had to correct her like right there. But she did make some other guesses about some other things, like am I a dog person or a cat person? First of all, we've never owned a dog. We have owned a cat, like in my kid's lifetime, and yet she still said I'm a dog person. I'm like, okay, I know, right? So yeah. So anyway, that's just. But otherwise, yeah, I had the grandparents over. Then I called like my mom, and then I called my dad like later, and we hung out with the neighbors for a little bit and their dads. So that was a good time. All right, let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and request a random trick. Let's see what it brings up. The one thing about doing tricks at a walk around gig is that they all basically have to be short. And we already did Little Devil. All right, I'm not going to do that one. We're going to do a different one. All right, that seems fine. Okay. We literally warmed up with Little Devil today. Actually, so I didn't do this trick. So normally I do this trick a lot during a walk around. I did not do this trick that much yesterday. I only did it like twice. So, uh, all right, we have the four aces. What I want to do is I want to turn them all face up, but only one card at a time. However, if I was to do it like this, that would be cheating. I'm not allowed to do it like that. So instead, I'm going to go ahead and hold the packet, give it a magical twist. That will turn up one of the aces, in this case, the ace of hearts. Now, don't break your gaze. This is the part that's going to get people. I'm going to hold the packet, give it a magical twist. Ace of hearts turns itself face down. Ace of clubs will turn itself face up. I know it's a little bit weird, but that's just how it is. I'm going to hold the packet, give it another magical twist. The ace of diamonds will turn itself face up. There we go. Now we have to do one more, and I'm not sure if it wants to turn itself face up because it is a little bit stubborn sometimes. First, let me show you that all the cards are face down, right? Even if I give it a magical twist, I don't think the Ace of Spades wants to turn face up. Even if I give it 2 magical twists, some people are like, yo, 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 Nam, you just gave it 3 cumulative magical twists. And I'd be like, alright, you can do arithmetic. But actually, this is all that it takes to turn the Ace of Spades face up. Sorry. You just have to snap really good. That first snap wasn't very good, but here we go. One finger. There you go. And that, my friends, is just don't do 4. Felden Kane, there are 4 lights. I have a feeling you will understand that reference. I think there's a bunch of people in chat that will understand that reference. But lol says Snowy City says that's awesome. Thanks, Snowy City. Let's see. We just got the warning that an ad break is incoming, so I won't start trick again until after that finishes, just in case there are people watching with ads. But anyway, the queue is empty. If anybody would like to request anything, feel free. Um, let's see here. Otherwise, I'll continue yapping, although there's not that much else I think that I had to yap about. There's still more stuff that I could yap about, but Beth kind of sort of says, maybe they heard me, it stopped. Oh. They might be in your chat. Oh. Okay. Hello, Beth's neighbors in my chat. Thank you for heeding Beth's annoyance in the chat about your loud noises and stopping the loud noises. Many of us are bothered by loud noises during late hours, especially those of us with young children. And so, therefore, we thank you for stopping. A 90-second ad break is starting. Not really, lol, just funny. No, I know. I'm playing. Um, Alright, Charlie's Beats has requested Invisible Hands. Alright, let's go ahead and get ready for Invisible Hands. Thank you for the request, Charlie. Greatly appreciate it. Let's see here. So actually, this particular trick, I did do a lot of variations on this one at the gig. And I came up with like a new series of like patter jokes to do with it because I think a lot of people got a kick out of the storyline that it. But I'll do it the normal way first, and then I'll tell you how I did it at the gig. So, all right. Okay, it looks like the ad break is finishing now. I think people should be coming back from it at the moment, and so here we go. We have a bunch of the kings. Let me go ahead and introduce the kings to you. So here we have the King of Hearts, we have the King of Spades, we have the King of Diamonds, and then of course we have the King of Clubs. And so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and hold the cards out like this. And one would think that if I wanted to move a card from one hand to the other, what I would have to do is have the piles touch. But actually, I don't need to have the piles touch. All I have to do is kind of just like shake, right? And when I shake, you'll see one melt away on one hand, and you'll see another one appear in the other hand. I know, that's super weird, right? super weird. Now, some people believe that we can't do the same trick twice, and with that, I would say no, no, no. We break a rule of magic. It's okay. We'll do the same trick twice. So look, we have two and two, but now if I shake, I don't know if you can tell, but one card melts away from one hand and appears in the other hand. I know, is that crazy? That's a little bit crazy, right? Okay, so now here's the interesting thing, though. This last one, and so actually, I did make a slight mistake here because normally what I would like to do is do the trick using the cards of the person who requested the trick that they signed it. And the thing is, Charlie's Beats has signed the Ace of Spades. And so instead of using the kings, I should have used the aces. But you know what? We can fix that. Okay, here, watch. Ready? We can fix that because right now, all four of these cards are the four aces instead of the kings. And that, my friends, is the way that I normally do invisible hands. It's not quite the original, like Patrick Kuhn's way, because he's way fancier. I'm not that fancy. But, so. Thank you kindly for the claps, Feldon Kane. All right, so now let me show you how I did this at the gig, and it was way less. I didn't show the face of the cards because I didn't think that was that as important. And I would do this while people. Thank you kindly for the claps, Charlie Speeds. And so I would actually do this because people would order from the food truck, and because there were so many people and relatively fewer food trucks, that I found like one of the best places to perform was to perform right around the food truck where people were waiting for food because I could distract them a little bit and wait for the they would wait for their food, but hopefully, I'd make them forget for like a moment or something. But this was perfect for that. So I would basically do, oh look, and I would talk about moving cards from hand to hand without having them touch. So we'll do the one, and then we go ahead and tell them, oh okay, do the repeating, repeating thing. Here's the two, and then the last part. This part would be different because I didn't show the cards face up. So what I did was, some people think that they know how this trick is done. And so while I'm shaking my hands, the hand that has the cards that will disappear, that will make one disappear, I secretly put it into my hand and pull my hand out really fast, and that's basically how I do that. And then my other hand goes into my pocket, picks up a card, and then adds it to the pile. And then a lot of them would be like, "No, no," and I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, you're right. That's not how I did it." But and then I told them I'll do it the old way. And so while the card's in my pocket, I basically let me shake that card in my pocket, and I basically do like an Elvis Presley like leg roll thing. And as I'm doing that, they're watching my leg roll, and then I just make this shake, and and the card appears over here. And that's how I did it yesterday. And I think everybody loved that because they laughed. And importantly, if you entertain people, my magic could be terrible. Just as long as I entertain people, I think there's at least a chance I would get hired back. But if they're entertained and I did the magic fairly okay, then yeah, home run. So anyway, that was how I did that trick yesterday at the gig, and everybody loved it. I don't know how many people would be able to get away with like pretending to do a dance move as part of like a magic trick, but thank you kindly for the claps, Phil and Kane, Charlie's Beats. And so, yeah, that was certainly a unique. I basically somehow just came up with it like while I was doing that yesterday. I'm like, I need a way to clean up for the last card and make it like a finale. And that was what I came up with just partially on the fly, but then I just kept on doing it. I'm like, this is working so good. Like, so this is like one of the awesome benefits of like when I'm doing stuff on stream and I just do stuff and I improvise and I like the fact that I was able to improvise that like out in the field, like that makes. I mean, besides the fact that like, first of all, Twitch is cool, make new friends, hang out, keeping in sharp practice with the magic tricks. It's like the fact that I was able to get the skill to improvise, and I'm pretty sure I got that skill because of stream. Like if this wasn't a sleight of hand Sunday thing, I probably would not have been able to improvise like like that. So thank you guys. Thank you guys. But yeah, that was fun. That was good. There was a thing. So the one thing about the one thing about working a cannabis event is that everybody ends up asking you, oh, do you partake or are you straight edge? And I ended up having to tell them that I certainly don't smoke. Like I'm not a fan of lighting something on fire and breathing in a bunch of unknown particulates, but I think if there was a way to enjoy it regularly, it would be with a vaporizer. I've not really done much with that in the past. And then as far as like the only thing that I think would probably be most acceptable is to my philosophy of using cannabis would be consumables. So whether that be like, baked goods, brownies, gummies, that's probably the extent that I would be okay with. And yesterday I had to talk a little bit about my very limited experience with it, and I think anybody could tell it's like I'm not very experienced with this at all. So I don't really go out of my way to search for anything to buy anything to, but that was like one of the pressures that I felt like everybody was like, oh no, they're judging me because I don't smoke. Like is that? And it's like, and I just have to keep on remembering and telling myself it's like it's perfectly fine not to smoke. It just felt weird like interacting with like literally everybody else who does. Yeah, I mean by and large, I don't think it's a secret here that I like alcohol, and I've had to give up alcohol like 95% of what I used to drink. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm basically not drinking anymore because of the medical thing I have, which if anybody doesn't know, I have gout. I know. Anybody can get gout. It's not an old person disease or a rich person. I mean, maybe it used to be a rich person disease before we had a lot of artificial food, ultra processed food, but now everybody can get it. All right. Sorry, I just went on a really weird tangent. Queue is empty. If anybody would like to request any other tricks, feel free. Um, let's see here. Oh yeah, good news for anybody who hasn't been around for a bit. But last couple streams, we had finished filling out the previous Twitch deck, and so here's the last Twitch deck. Every single card in this deck has been signed, and here is the new Twitch deck. Which, as soon as we filled this up, we got a handful of people who signed a card, and so now I think we have like 6 cards, 7 cards signed in the new deck. So not many, but most of these cards are still open. So if anybody wants to sign a card, um, here's the way you can sign a card. And for anybody who signed one in the old Twitch deck, if your name is not in the new Twitch deck, you can sign a card. If you want to pick a new one, that's fine. If you want to find a card that's more representative of you, but if you want to keep the same one, that's fine too. If you want to mess me up, like if you had your name in the old one, if you want to mess me up, choose a different one in the new one. That's how you mess me up. Those of you who have signed the same one, thank you very much for keeping my life sane. uh, all right, let me see here. Let me go ahead and let's throw another one into the queue. Oh, Charlie requested. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh man, Charlie beat me. That's okay. We're gonna do Charlie's first anyway, even if he didn't. All right. Let's see here. Charlie requested. Thanks to Walton. Oh, I forgot to debut my inaugural. So yesterday at the gig, because I wasn't sure if anybody was gonna be able to First of all, it was kind of hot. So it was only like 70, 75 degrees, but it got up to 75. I was in my suit. I basically chose to wear long pants and my suit jacket, and it was pretty warm. But I didn't know if anybody knew was gonna know if it was gonna be that like I was there to entertain, for the event. And so I put a name tag on myself. And so yesterday I was Nam Glorious Magician. That's right. Nobody questioned that my first name was Nam. Two people questioned that my middle and last name were Glorious Magician. That's my which, by the way, before I left, my wife saw this and she said, "Shouldn't you put like Nam colon Glorious Magician?" And I'm like, "No, because then I can't use the joke." Which, by the way, I didn't have to make the joke. Two other people made it for me that my middle name is Glorious. Uh, so yeah, it was pretty cool. It's kind of funny. Thank you for the hype. All right, let me see here. But now I have a new non-glorious magician name tag that I can bring to any gig I want. I suppose it should be for a gig that I perform. It would be really weird if I wore the name tag to a gig that I was not hired for. Now that I think about it. So let me rephrase: not any gig, but any gig I was hired for. That's funny. I go to, so imagine like let's pretend I go to one of my like other magicians friends like magic gigs, like they're doing magic at a restaurant or something. I put on the name tag. It's like, oh, are you not the glorious magician? I'm like, yes. It's like, can you do some magic? Oh, no, no, no. You want this other guy. He's the one that's working tonight. All right. So, all right, we have two piles of cards, and this pile is a black packet, and I'll just show you that. So here we've got a black spot card, black spot card, black spot card, and black spot card. We'll leave those here. And then down here we have red face cards. So one, two, three, four red face cards. Now I'm going to go ahead and swap out a red face card for a black spot card, just like this. And I don't know if you can tell, but these, when I count through them, you would expect to see a black spot card, but you won't be able to see any. Still red, 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 red. Now we're going to go ahead and do that again. We'll take out a red face card, replace it with this black spot card, and we'll go ahead and show you that still red, 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 red. Some people think I have to do this one card at a time, but we're going to go ahead and do this two cards at a time. And let's go ahead and scoop the remaining black spot cards. And if we take a look, you can even see that the black spot cards are still there. But all we need to do is, and now you'll just see red, 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 red. Alchemutation, welcome in. Thank you so much for the raid. How's it going? Welcome in, raiders. And we're at the end of this trick, so I'm going to finish this up, and then we'll go ahead and properly welcome the raiders. And now here's the thing. Everybody, I would ask, hey, where are the black spot cards? And a lot of people would say down here. But no, the case is not, this is not the case, because if I show you, these cards are completely blank. There's nothing on these cards at all. And that, my friend, E-Room, thanks for the bang. Welcome in. All right, and that, my friends, was, thanks to Walton, a trick that I used to call red packet, black packet. All right, cool. So, first of all, welcome in, raiders. How's it going? Alchemutation. Alchemutation says, it's been a minute. I know, it's been a minute. Welcome in, Craig. How's it going? How are you doing today? Alchemutation is bringing the alchemutant love into this party. Let's go. Raise the roof. Sorry, I added the raise the roof. But yes, welcome in. E-Room, welcome in. Random Man 29, good to see you. Um, and let's see here. Hi Nam, hi E-Room. Thanks for the bang. If anybody didn't know, usually when E-Room enters the stream, he just does the sound alert. Bang! So, Daughter of Q, welcome in. How's it going? And okay, 90-second ad break is starting. Sorry, that's a very poorly timed ad break, but I will I will wait until the ad break is done, and then we'll come back to this. So okay, all right, but anyway, how is the stream? I'm not sure if you can hear me, Craig, at this point, but Alchemmutation, if you can hear me, how is the stream? And if not, I'll just repeat the question after um, after the ad break is over. But anyway, in the interim, for anybody who can hear, if you've been sitting around for a while and you're not hydrated, please feel free to hydrate. Okay. So let's see here. That was here. And then the ad break is finishing now. All right. Excellent. Sorry for anybody who didn't experience the ad and was just sitting there with me mumbling for a short moment in silence. But, you know, I've always thought about, do I want to have music on my stream, on my Magic streams? And I'm like, ultimately, I don't know. I just feel like having silence is like a contrast to like every other stream that has like lots of music. Even like co-working streams, they usually have like background music. Um, but anyway, so welcome in Raiders. How's it going, Craig? How was the stream? Hopefully, uh, it went well. What were you doing? Were you playing guitar? Were you reading? Were you? Kyo Demon has requested the 4 card trick. Thank you for that request, Kyo, and welcome in, Kyo. Random Man 29 says, "Have fun, have to go." All right, Random Man 29. Thanks for stopping in with the raid. Have a good night, Random Man. Good to see you. We'll talk to you later. Let's see here. I'm actually just gonna, because I don't need to do the random trick that I requested. We can go ahead and do a different one first. Okay, alright, let me see here. Let's do this. But, guys, if you're not following our friend Alchemmutation, the Raider, please give Alchemmutation a follow. Alchemmutation is a guitarist, and I'm not sure if you're still calling it Smilecore, but metal guitar. But also, Craig has done co-working streams, reading streams, um, community games too. So definitely give our friend Alchemmutation a follow. And I believe Alchemmutation, you may still be the #1 raider to this stream. I would actually have to check the numbers, but there's only 2 people that are remotely in close contention. So, all right, okay. So, Keo, are you there? Because we can go about doing your request, the 4 card trick. I am. All right, glorious. Welcome in, sir. How are you doing? Hopefully, you're doing well. Good to see you. All right, so here we are going to be performing the 4 card trick, and it's hard to do the 4 card trick without 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. Now, there's something interesting about these 4 cards, which may not be that surprising because you just saw from the last trick. These cards are all blank, but Keo, I'm going to need you to tell me what to write or draw on this card, because we're going to need this card to be absolutely unique. Um, so if you want me to write like a word, the time, a number, if you want me to try and draw a little picture or something, let me know. If you want me to if you want me to write Keo Demon, or Hades is amazing. Just giving you ideas. So you let me know what you want me to put on this card for you, and I will put it on this card. Oh, okay. I'm gonna draw. I'm gonna draw the kitty. All right. I'm gonna draw the kitty. We're gonna draw the kitty. All right. And so let me go ahead and draw the kitty. Boom. I'm just going to maybe embellish the spacing a little bit, just so that it fills up the card a little bit more. Okay. So here we go. Keo Demon has requested that I put this on the card. If anybody was curious about what it is, it's literally equal caret period caret equal. No, it's just a cat. ASCII cat. All right. But here's what we're going to do. We are going to go ahead and place this facing in the opposite direction into the packet. Now you'll be able to see it when I go through this packet, just like this. Okay, so there's the cat. But sometimes the cat needs to go take a litter break. And so the cat is going to have a litter break over here. This is the litter break area, i.e. the litter box. Okay, because now if we take a look, we won't be able to see the cat over here because the cat is taking a litter break over there. So now if I take a look, all the cards are facing in the same direction. However, the cat is going to come back. So there, the cat is now done taking its litter break, and the cat comes back. Which, by the way, if anybody has ever heard of Laurie Berkner, I'm thinking about the Laurie Berkner "The Cat Came Back" song. And here's the cat. Now, here's the interesting thing about the cat, though. So you will be able to tell the face of the cards because we put the cat here on the face of this card. But what you may not know is that you can tell the backs of these too, because the backs of these cards are blue. And the back of the cat card is red. And that, my friends, is how the cat came back. The very next day, the cat came back. Sorry, I'm just the lyrics of that song. Thank you kindly for the claps, Keo, and the mind blown. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Thank you for the cat. If anybody doesn't know, Keo has two cats. Which, by the way, if you're not following our friend Keo Demon, please give Keo Demon a follow. Keo Demon, a fan of action roguelike games, but also a fan of games with stories. And Keo has played quite a few interesting games. So a lot of the reason why Keo, I love all the games you play. Basically, those are like the games that I would play. All right. So lol says Keo. Also, I did see some people come in with the raid, and we didn't quite shout everybody out. Guys, you're not following our friend E-Room as well. Please give E-Room a follow. And let's see here. Daughter of Q is a streamer, right? I don't know if I've been in Daughter of Q stream much, but I know that Daughter of Q streams. All right, cool. Thank you for the hearts, E-Room. Well, thank you. You're welcome. Oh yeah, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, Kyo has two cats. One of the cats' name is Kyo, and then the other cat's name is Namin, I believe. I'm pretty sure I'm right, but okay. Let's see. Next up, Charlie's Beats has requested "Birds of a Feather." All right, let's see here. Hold on, I've got to switch out this thing and then Restless Lady. Excellent. Let's go ahead and perform Restless Lady, which it doesn't have to be about a lady per se. Uh, Sorry, I'm just finding the cards that I will need for this. Okay. All right. So, what should I do? Okay. Okay, here we go. Let me just move these. Hang on, I feel a cough coming. Okay. All right. So here we have 6, a 7, an 8, and a 9 of hearts, and then we have a jack of spades. Now, here in this case, we're going to have the 6, 7, 8, and 9 represent various different communities in which everybody feels like they belong. And the jack is someone who's looking for a community to belong into. And so, let's pretend that even though the jack may not be online, sometimes what might happen is that some event happens digitally, and that will bring the jack back. And so here, the jack is trying to find some belonging and gets pulled back into an online digital community. Maybe it's a YouTube community. Maybe it's a Twitch community. We're not sure yet. Uh, so here are all the communities, and of course, the jack logged off for the time being. But the next time the jack hops back on, we end up seeing that the jack has come back to visit said online communities. And so, even though now maybe the hour gets late and maybe there's only a couple streamers left, but just give that jack a Discord notification and the jack will be in stream of in chat of the Twitch friends. And finally, we have one late night streamer. But as it turns out, you might end up seeing the jack there. And so, next time when you go to visit any and all of these communities, if you look in the Twitch chat, you might see that the jack is there, or here, or there, or there, or there. And so you see the jack everywhere. Now, here's the interesting thing. Over time, this jack builds up a relationship with all of these communities, and maybe the jack becomes a VIP in many of these Twitch streams. Maybe the jack becomes a mod in a bunch of these Twitch streams. And for anybody who doesn't know, I had made a mistake, and normally I like to use the card of the person who requested the trick if they had signed a card. And so let me just fix that right now, because if anybody doesn't know, I'm trying to tell the story of Charlie's Beats, because Charlie's Beats has become a part of many communities: music Twitch, random Twitch, community games Twitch, words on stream Twitch, magic Twitch, and so here Charlie's Beats is part of all of these communities. And there we have it. Thank you for the request, Charlie. And as always, thank you for being the signer of the Ace of Spades. And thanks for always being here. Thank you kindly for the claps. Keo, thank you kindly for the claps. Charlie, hopefully you like that. Thanks for the request. Curviously Jen, welcome in, Jen. How's it going? Hey, Nam. Hey, Jen. How are you guys doing? And welcome in. Um, I forget. Is it it's very close to your wedding time, right? I think it's yes, that's right. 6 days. Okay. Chris M. Yee says, Happy Father's Day. Thank you, Chris M. Yee. And welcome in, Chris M. Yee and Kirby's Legend. It's going good. Got 6 days until the wedding. Yes. I knew it was close. I just didn't realize how close it was. 6 days. So that's very close. But first of all, welcome in. And guys, if you're not following our friends Curviously Jen and Chris M. Yee, please give Curviously Jen and Chris M. Yee a follow. An ad break is starting soon. What timing? But thank you kindly for the Happy Father's Day. Chris M. Yee, Happy Father's Day to you too. Yeah, haha, neither of us had streamed in a long time. I mean, here's the thing. I believe I shouted out someone like last week that hadn't streamed for 3 years, and you know what? That's okay. They streamed once before, non-zero chance that they would stream again. Also, somebody else, they hadn't streamed for like 10 or 11 months, and so we shouted them out too. So whatever. Like, I'll shout out friends that haven't streamed for a while. Yarrow Flower, welcome in. Happy summer solstice. Happy first day of summer. Happy National Indigenous Peoples Day in Canada, and happy Father's Day. Thank you, Yarrow Flower. Welcome in. How's it going? Curviously Jen says, "Thank you for the shout out. It's hard with the baby and everything else that's going on." Yeah, I totally understand. If you have a baby and can't stream, I mean I totally get it. Like, yeah. But you know what? That should not preclude you from being shouted out here, because if you have streamed before, you may one day stream again. Thank you for this heat map, whoever gave it to me. Let me consume it. Delicious. But okay, so 90-second ad break. Um, I know that the next request is mine, but actually, let me do a different one first, and then we'll go from there. So, and Chris M. Yee gets a magician's choice. All right, all right. I'll do. You know what? I'm gonna do the magician's choice after Play It Straight Triumph. Okay. All right. Of course, magician's choice is the RR. Lol. I almost feel like that. I basically just did a I mean, I just put one in the queue to be a magician choice, but that's all right. I'm just waiting for the ad break to finish, and then I will do the next trick, and then we'll go from there. Also, this gives me a moment. I can get the tea machine started, i.e., the hot water machine. It's basically a tea machine now because I don't do anything. Okay, the ad break is finishing now. So as people are coming back, I'm going to be able to do this one. Okay. All right. Okay, so here we go. Flipping over here. All right, I'm going to be using a different deck. You may not have seen this very frequently, but for those of you who have, this is a deck not filled with the usual suits and numbers, but it is filled with letters. And so, 52 cards, there's maybe about two of each letter on average. There's some letters where there's three of them because, you use them a lot. There's like vowels and things. There's some letters that maybe you don't use that often, like the letter J, the letter Z, the letter X. There's not that many of those. Um, and so here's what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and uh, let's have a random card selected from this segment of the deck here. So if you are on desktop, you should be able to click directly on one of these cards and actually, okay, excellent. We have this one. So let's go ahead and have this selection be pulled out just right there. Okay. And now what we will do is I'm going to go ahead and cut the deck into a roughly 4 equal piles. 1, 2, 3. They don't have to be exact. If you were here, I would let you cut the piles yourself. Um, and now we're going to do something interesting. I'm going to flip over these two piles here, and we're going to shuffle face up into face down cards. And so here we go. And if you don't believe that they are actually being shuffled together, there we go. If you have OCD, look away now. And then here, all right. And then finally, oh crap. I'm supposed to find your card right now. There it is, I found your card. Can we just end the trick here as though it was a comedy routine? No? Okay, alright. Okay, how about this? What if I could... Lol, says Chris MG. What if I could get you to guess what this letter was? Okay, alright. Let's do that instead. Alright. Let me grab this heat map and eat it. Delicious. Okay. And let's pull out our friend, the deck sock. Guys, if you have the emotes, feel free to spam the deck sock. Here's the deck sock. Deck sock, please fix the deck for me. And make sure that all my friends are impressed with this trick, okay? Alright, so here we go. Deck sock says, spread. That's not very descriptive. Spread the deck. Okay, alright. So I just got psychic powers. Thank you for putting the deck sock. I just got psychic communications from the deck sock. It's not a psychic baby, like some games would have you believe. Sorry, I think only Kyo Demon would understand what that is. Anyway, okay. So here we go. I'm going to spread. And there are some cards that are face up, but not everything. So let me just start pulling some cards out here. H A. Ha! Ha! Hap. Ha! PP. Alright. You know, PP is something you... Ha. Alright. Why? Hmm. Ha! Says Charlie Sweets. Oh yeah. Ha! Happy fat. Yep, there you go. Happy fat. Oh, sorry. There's some more cards. I don't know about you, but when I have a delicious burger, that's very happy fat right there. Happy. This could be politically incorrect. Happy fat her. Sorry. I could not help myself there. All right. Happy Father's. Happy Father's D. Is there like three other letters left? No, no. Okay, there's only. Oh, hold on, wait. There's only one. There's only one. All right. All right, guys. Important question. What sauce? you know it's bad when my mod sends the bad spray at me. Thank you for the sus eyes. Any guesses as to what the letter is? I think you guys could probably guess what that letter is. It's obviously the letter O, right? Happy Father's Day. Sleight of hand. Felden Kane is trying to guess that this is a Magic the Gathering card, which, by the way, that would be glorious, right? How would I make that happen? I don't know. You? Happy Father's Day. Oh, man. Okay. So here we go. It says Happy Father's Day. There we go. And that, my friends, is Happy Father's Day. Play it straight edition. I'm not gonna lie, I had way more jokes in there than I thought I could come up with. And yes, for anybody who doesn't know, my mind lives in the gutter. It's been there forever. Okay. Whew. Thank you kindly for the claps. Gibson Lens, Chris M. Yee, Keo Demon, Charlie's Beats, E Room. Thank you so much. All right. So Chris and Jen. I see Chris. You're there, and Jen. Hopefully you're still there. I feel like because sorry, I could not make it to your celebration, but I would like to do a trick for you right now. Um, let me go ahead and do that. And you know what? You know how serious it is when. Yes, I'm here. Oh, great. I'm pulling out a brand new deck of cards. It's except I probably used this for some trick at some point because somehow it was at the end and not in the middle. But I'm pulling out almost a brand new deck of cards. Uh, and we're going to be doing a trick for Chris and Jen. And I would like to do a trick for you. And maybe this can be like my wedding gift trick to you. So, all right. You know what? Hey, Chris M. Yee, would you like me to put your name on the of two of spades? Because if I recall, the two of spades is historically Chris M. Yee's card. Haha, sure. Okay, great. And so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and put Chris M. Yee's name here on the two of spades. All right. All right. So here we go. Chris M. Yee. Just making it because I haven't written your name in a bit. So, all right, here we go. Not like I'm writing people's names on Sharpies, on cards all the time. I usually have the audience member do it, or the spectator. Chris M. Yee. Okay. And so here we have two of spades signed Chris M. Yee. Okay. All right. Now, let's just go ahead and leave this over here. And now, Jen, can you go ahead and select a card in the rest of the deck, please? What card would you like to have signed? Six of Hearts? Okay, let's go find the Six of Hearts. So, here? Okay. All right. Here's something that we are going to be doing a little bit differently. Let's go ahead and instead of signing the face, right? Let's go ahead and sign the back of the Six of Hearts. Curviously Jen. And you just do Jen if it makes it easier? No, no, no. We're going to be doing Curviously Jen. So we know. Look, if I just put Jen, that could be any Jen. But if I put Curviously Jen, there's only one Curviously Jen. That's you. So here we go. I'm going to make sure I spell curviously right. After saying that whole thing, it would be terrible if I spelled something wrong, right? Okay. Curviously Jen. All right, here we go. All right. Okay. So, now we have your two cards, all right? Look, you can't outdo me. I've spelt my own name wrong on me doing a makeup look. Jed, that's kind of actually hilarious. So, all right. Here what we've got is we have the two cards, right? And so here what we've got is Chris MU's card and Curviously Jen's card, right? Chris MU's card, Curviously Jen's card. Now here's what we're going to do. If you were here, I would ask you to put your hands out like this. So maybe Chris, you would put your hand here, and then Jen, you would put your hand here. And then what I would do is I would ask to put this card in between your hands, and then you would close it up. And so I'm just going to simulate that by placing my actual computer mouse on top of the two cards. And what we're going to do now is we are going to be invoking a little bit of deck sock magic. So if I actually had a lighter or something, I would actually bring the candle or the lighter over, and I would wave it over the top and bottom, and we're using the heat from the lighter, but instead of that, we're going to be using the hot deck sock. Hot deck sock is going to be applying the heat, or I guess the optical laser from the mouse. Maybe that's hot enough, right? And actually, we're going to melt those two cards together. We're going to melt them together so much that the two cards will fuse into one. And I don't know if you can tell, but if you were here, you could come and pick up and try and take apart your two cards, but you fuse them together in between your hands, i.e. Because now, if you take a look here in the front, it is Chris M. Yee's two of spades, and on the back is Curviously Jen. And if you try and remove the two cards, they have been permanently fused together. And that is to represent your wedding in 6 days, because you will now be joined together in the same family. And that, my friends, I will call a successful trick. For the happy couple Guys, give it up for. Let's give a round of applause for the happy couple, Curviously Jen and Chris M. Yee. Um, Chris M. Yee, let me know if there's an updated place that you want me. I can send this to you, and then I'll also certainly I'll highlight that trick for you guys. So. Curvy Jen says that was awesome, and Chris M. Yee says we're gonna need that highlight. Yeah, absolutely. I will highlight it, and then you guys, I will also send you this if you would like. So there you go. It's same place as last time. I'll send you. Okay, all right. I think I have it. If it hasn't changed, then I can send it. So it's all good. Thanks, Nah. You're welcome, Chris. And once again, congratulations, and hopefully everything goes wonderfully, and you guys have a great time. And there you go. All right. Full disclosure, you know how like you guys see me get a lot of practice with a lot of these tricks? That trick I almost never get any practice with, and so if I messed that one up, I would have felt really bad. Thank goodness for me, I think it worked out fine. It was great. That is what a successful performance of that would look like. All right, so that was Magician's Choice. Um, for magicians out there, if anybody wants to know the name of that, I mean, it is a pretty famous trick, but if you need the name of it, you can message me and I will send you the name of it if any other magicians wants to learn how to do that trick. Curvy's the Gent says, we will be streaming it in the Discord at roughly 5 p.m. Ooh, okay. For you join us that way. I think I saw some messages. I should probably catch up on some of those. Uh, so thank you. Yes, let me. Sweet. Okay. Cool. Oh, hold on. Let me check my calendar really quick. If it, I need to probably put it in the calendar just so I don't uh, miss it. Okay. Let's see. All right. Okay. I should hopefully be yeah. I'm gonna put it in my calendar right now. Okay. All right. Okay. It's in there. And just hopefully I don't get held up. Mostly the only thing that would hold me up is probably my kid, or like a work my wife's work schedule, and if I have to take care of the kid basically. So. Okay, the ad break is finishing now. All right, awesome, cool. All right, and all right, next up, Keo has requested a trick. Thank you for the request, Keo. And oh no, I just dropped a thing, but that's okay. I don't need it for the trick. I'll just need to pick it up later. Um, all right, so let me see here. We are going to go ahead and I need to find another card here. Boom, there we go. Okay. Okay. All right. Next up is a trick called two card Monty, or at least that's what it's known as. All right. First things first. If you were here, I would ask you to hold your fingers out like this, and I would have you hold on to these cards. Basically, for lack of a person, I'm just going to use the box as a platform, just so that it's easier for me to hold the cards. But this is not so much a trick as it is a game. And so what we're going to do, and so I have both red jacks here. I would place them into your two finger clamps, and I would ask you which one is on the top. I know you might have not been paying attention, so let me just show you. So if I have the Jack of Diamonds, you must have the Jack of Hearts. All right, excellent. And so this is how magicians would swap out the card. What I would do is I would actually insert it in between your fingers, line it up exactly with the other one, pull out the other one with these two fingers, and now if I have the Jack of Hearts, you must have the Jack of Diamonds. All right, exactly. But now we're going to do the switch at speed, and this is kind of why I need the platform. And so we swap it out once, we'll swap it twice. Everybody laughs, ha 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 ha. I'm going to place it right here. Would you believe that the diamond is on the top and the heart's on the bottom, or would you be more impressed if the heart was on the top and the diamond was on the bottom? And it doesn't really matter what anybody says, but I tell them to commit to what they predict in their mind, because at this point, I'll tell them to turn their card over. And you know what? I did make a slight mistake, because normally I like to use the signed card of the person who requested the trick. In this case, Keo Demon has signed the Two of Spades in the new deck. And you know what? We should fix that right now, because Keo Demon requested this trick, and therefore should have used the black twos. And that, my friend, is a successful performance of two card Monty. Thank you for the mind blown, Keo Demon. Thank you kindly for the claps, Chris M. Yee, Charlie's Beats. That's a cool trick. So fun thing. So I had a birthday party. I mean, I didn't have a birthday party. I performed magic at a birthday party, not this past Friday, but the Friday before. It was a 70-year-old birthday party, and the birthday girl um, was married to her partner of her husband for 44 years. So when I did this trick, I used the two red fours, and after I did the swap, but before we did the final reveal, I asked them, "Hey, does 4 and 4 mean anything to you or you?" Because they were both watching. And then they thought about it. It's like, I don't know, four. And they list a bunch of things. I'm like, four. And I said 44. Does that mean anything to you? They still couldn't get it. And then I was like, hey, are you guys celebrating a, a wedding anniversary? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, for 44 years? And then they both said, oh my God, yes. And because like they had both forgotten. And then when I said, go ahead and turn your whole hand over, there was no longer the two red fours. It was a car. There was two custom-made blank cards that I wrote on, and one of them was their first names in a heart together, and then the other one said, "Congratulations, 44 years, 44-year anniversary." And they were floored. And they were like, "Oh my God!" And I was like, "Yeah, that hit real good." So that was yeah, that was amazing when I did that for them. It's just it's so cool. It's so cool to just like be able to be there for moments like that. Now, I don't know if cuz like when the person who hired me was the husband, and so I was thinking, "Oh, he should probably know where some of this is going." He gave me a like I asked them some questions and they give me a bunch of answers and I try and incorporate them. And you guys know, like, I'm able to incorporate a ton of stuff with chat on stream now just because I've gotten to know you guys, right? Like, this is, and so if they give me a little bit of information ahead of time, like, I've got like a week to to do stuff. And here I'm coming up with stuff like on the fly. Oh, I never made my tea. Like, I put it under the tea thing and I never hit the make the tea button. Chris MU says, "You're very good at the storytelling element of this." Ah, thank you, Chris. Greatly appreciate that. So fun story. I was talking with some magicians at a magician's picnic that we had a couple weeks ago, and they told me that they knew of someone who was amazingly immaculate at the magic, and what he could do was just like it almost seemed very magical. The problem was they were very young and they hadn't like built up their chops for presentation, and actually when they put him in front of a crowd, or not a crowd, but it was just like a handful of people to present the magic. Uh, his speaking voice was very quiet. He couldn't really tell a story. He couldn't really keep the crowd engaged, even though the magic was so immaculate and amazing. Um, they said that he probably couldn't get like a gig at the moment because you have to be able to entertain, and part of that is the storytelling, right? Q Demon has requested Magic the Gathering, or sorry, redeemed Magic the Gathering cards. All right, well, I'm gonna have to find a way to do that. Uh, but I do have. We'll do wild card first. Can I do Birds of a Feather? Actually, Keo, I can probably do Birds of a Feather, this number 2, with Magic the Gathering cards. So we could probably do that. All right, all right. Anyway, do not worry. We will do the Magic the Gathering cards for a magic trick. But first, good. Well, I assume that says good. Like sometimes you elongate like a word, but you add a bunch of letters. So that could say good, but it could also say God. And you don't know, right? Both of which could make sense. All right. Okay. You had it right the first time. I know. I was just making a point. Because also I've seen people do so like lol is lol. I've seen people do lol, and it's like I know that they mean lol, but really if you pronounce it the way that we would expect to pronounce it in English, it would be like lol. Like it's right. Anyway, English is weird. Okay, all right. So, um, guys, I have a collection of cards that I've been collecting. You know how like magicians have a ton of different cards? Sorry, a ton of different decks, but over time you get cards that are very unpopular. And one of those cards is the Nine of Spades. And so let me just show you. I've been collecting Nine of Spades. So here's a Nine of Spades, a Nine of Spades, a Nine of Spades, a Nine of Spades. Oh, this is actually not part of the collection. This is actually a very popular card, the Queen of Hearts. And so, but it's Nine of Spades, Nine of Spades, Nine of Spades, and Nine of Spades. So this is my Nine of Spades collection, except that there's also a Queen of Hearts. So we're just going to go ahead and lay down our Nine of Spades collection out just like this. And what I want to do is, for the collection, the Nine of Spades collection, because Nine of Spades is not a very popular card in card magic. Nobody ever names the Nine of Spades. You know what everybody names? Everybody names the Queen of Hearts. So you know what? I need more Queens of Hearts. And so, you know what? We're going to need to change these Nine of Spades into Queens of Hearts because everybody names the the Queen of Hearts. And so we're going to need more Queen of Hearts. And so I need to change this Nine of Spades into a Queen of Hearts. And so, of course, we're going to need to surround this Nine of Spades here and turn that into a Queen of Hearts. And of course, we will need to change this Nine of Spades into another Queen of Hearts. And all we need to do is touch this one to this one, and that will also become a Queen of Hearts. But of course, we can't just have this Nine of Spades be a regular Nine of Spades without changing it to be a Queen of Hearts. And then, of course, this one will also need to become a Queen of Hearts. And then, of course, our Nine of Spades is going to become a Queen of And that, my friends, is how I changed my Nine of Spades collection into a Queen of Hearts collection. Because everybody names the Queen of Hearts. Thank you kindly for the claps. Felden Kane and the applause. Keo Demon, thank you for that request. And that story I told you is true because when I bring out a deck of cards, if it's fresh, if I give them a choice of any card, I will say about 1 in like 5 people attempt to choose the Queen of Hearts. um, it's kind of crazy how often the Queen of Hearts is chosen. For anybody who didn't know, there has been a statistical analysis for people naming a random card or choosing a random card, and or not a random card, but like a card that they would pick, and like the top 2 cards, you guys can probably guess: Queen of Hearts, Ace of Spades. Those are the top 2. So there's a few that are around like the tier 3, but then after that, like it drops off severely. Like yeah, because it was like truly random. Like every card would have an equal distribution, and that's not the case. That's definitely not it. So thank you kindly for the collapse. Charlie's Beats, Gibson Lens. So that was this. All right, so now I need to grab my Magic the Gathering cards. Let's go ahead and do a trick with Magic the Gathering cards. We'll do Birds of a Feather because I believe I can do that. And let me see here. How do I want to do this? The one thing that I always wonder about whether is good for this or not is should I create like a quote unquote pre-constructed deck of Magic the Gathering cards explicitly just to do magic with, like sleight of hand magic with, because it comes up more often than zero. Not just in this stream, but like out in real life too. It's kind of crazy. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and do. Let's see here. Yeah, and the thickness of the magic cards is way thicker than playing cards, so like you almost never get like a nice like feeling. Oh, fun thing. So one of the booths at yesterday's gig had tarot cards, and and she saw that I was a magician, and I was like, "Hey, you have tarot cards there. Could I do a trick with them for you really quick?" And I did a trick with, and you guys have seen me do magic tricks with tarot cards here, and I was like, "Oh yeah, these are your cards," and I just did the trick, and she was like, "What?" And I was like, "I know, they're your cards, right?" Like, okay, all right, so. And our ad break is starting soon. All right, I won't start this trick until after the ad break because this trick will most certainly run into the ad break. But um, yeah, so last week, just last week, um, my friend came over, and for the first time in maybe years, I played Paper Magic. So we played Paper Magic. I have a bunch of 60 casual 60 card decks built. They were decks that I haven't touched since like college, and had like all these themes. Like there was like creature mechanics, there was a burn deck, there's like a couple of weird control decks, there's color changing deck, there's like what we used to call tribal, which I don't know what they've changed it because I think they wanted to get away from the terminology. But I had a beast deck, I had a goblin deck, that kind of thing. But he and I sat down, we played Paper Magic with my old decks that I haven't touched in like 15 years, and it was like a stroll down memory lane. And if anybody's interested, I can go through my old decks sometime maybe on probably I'd probably have a separate dedicated stream for it. Not I won't take up Sleight of Hand Sunday for it, but yeah, we had a good time, and I think we played for about 3.5 hours, and we got a ton of different games in. So Gibson Land says they call it typal now, but they said that it's okay. You can still call it tribal. I mean, yeah, I think the reason why they wouldn't have continued to call it tribal is just like they wanted to move away from it, but also if anybody has any sort of like, I don't necessarily want to say like if it's politically correct, but I mean that's effectively the vibe that I'm getting that it's not. But yeah, typal makes more sense to me, but I'm not used to calling it typal, you know. But yeah, that makes sense. All right, the ad break is finishing now. All right, Riff VP, welcome in, Riff VP. Thank you so much for the raid. I would ask what you were doing, but I actually have a feeling that you were playing games, right? And you even alluded to it. Had to. All right. Thank you, Riff VP, for the raid. Guys, if you're not giving our new friend Riff VP a follow, please give Riff VP a follow. So, Riff VP, what was the game that you said you were playing? Hold on, let's just do this. You were playing, oh no, sorry. This is doing this. You were playing Mecha something something. Mecha Chameleon, that's it. Play it with me. Alright, I'll note the game just so I can look it up and see what it is, and then we shall see maybe. Alright. But anyway, thank you so much for the raid, Riff VP. Greatly appreciate it. It's like prop hunt, but you paint yourself. Oh, okay, interesting. Mecha Chameleon is so fun. It's like prop hunt meets MS Paint. Okay, first of all, you said MS Paint. I'm now like, so even for me, my current like image editor, quote unquote, if you could call it that, is still MS Paint. Like that's my primary. Like all my YouTube thumbnails, effectively MS Paint. So yeah, I guess you had me at MS Paint. All right. Okay. It's so silly. All right. All right. I will have to consider it sometime. Mecha Chameleon. All right. Anyway, thank you so much for the raid. How was the stream? Hopefully it went well. Thank you so much for the raid, Riff VP. All right. So next up is, and we were waiting for an ad break to finish, and I think it finished, and then the raid occurred. So I have to do this trick for um, for Keo Demons Redeem, and then we can do a trick for the Raiders. So yeah. Thank you for letting me hang out. Gotta run. All right, it went well. All right, awesome. I'm glad that it went well. Gotta run. Okay, cool. No problem. Have a good night, Riff VP. Thank you so much for the raid. I understand if you have to raid and run. I mean, I don't know about you, but sometimes after, I'm like, oh no, I have to empty my bladder, or oh no, I have to go get a bite to eat, or oh no, like there's all sorts of things. I just gave you guys my thought process, but anyway, I get it. All right, cool. So, all right, here we go. So here we have 4 cards, and they are sleight of hand, sleight of hand, sleight of hand, and sleight of hand. Normally, I would introduce you to all of them, but I guess maybe in this case, I don't really need to introduce them because, well, they're all sleight of hand, right? And so, yeah. But the thing about these sleight of hands is that um, we are going to need to do something with the sleight of hand in this case. And let me just. So, if you were here, I would have you cut this deck, or what is remaining of this, about 3/4 of the way down. It doesn't have to be exact, but let's say here. And then this one, I would have you cut about 2/3. You could be off by a card or two, whatnot. And then this last one, we would cut to maybe here. Okay, so about half. So about 4 roughly equal piles. And now with each one of these, I would like to cut, or sorry, I would like to mark where it was cut with a sleight of hand. So we're going to mark this with a sleight of hand, We're going to mark this with a sleight of hand. We're going to mark this one with a sleight of hand. And then we'll mark this one with the last sleight of hand. And here's the thing. I don't know if you know, but when you use sleight of hand, not just like in card magic where I'm doing the trickery thing, but when you use sleight of hand even in the game of magic, it almost looks and feels like a tricky thing, right? And so I don't know if you know, but if I go ahead and I just touch these two piles, I will move the sleight of hand from this pile over to this pile. Same thing with this one. I'll move this sleight of hand from this pile over to this pile. And then finally this last one from this pile over to this pile. So if I show you this, well, you knew this was a sleight of hand, but all of the sleight of hands actually traveled. Oh, wait a second. Oh no, we messed this up. Okay. We are going to go ahead and do the thing that I don't like to do. And we're going to mulligan. As in Magic the Gathering, you sometimes have to mulligan. This is one of those times in which I have to mulligan. So I think honestly I might have messed it up because of the magic thing, but shh, you guys saw nothing. Shh, 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 shh. Full disclosure, I did mess up a trick in the wild at the gig yesterday. Luckily, it was not very major because it was a rubber band trick. And so I'm like, oh yeah. And I was able to just tell them, oh yeah, the rubber band, it slipped, and everybody was fine. Like, then I did it again. It was perfectly fine. But you know what? How appropriate. I had to mulligan using the Magic the Gathering cards. So appropriate. Okay. All right. Here we go. Starting over. So we have 4 sleight of hand. So here's a sleight of hand. Here's a sleight of hand. Um, here's a sleight of hand. And here's a sleight of hand. Okay. Once again, we have our 4 sleight of hands here. We can go ahead and, if you were here, you can cut. You would be able to cut maybe 3/4, 2/3, 1/2. Then I'm going to mark where you cut with a sleight of hand, sleight of hand, sleight of hand, and of course the sleight of hand. All right. I'll move this closer just so that my hands can do it. All right. We're going to have the sleight of hand travel from my pinky to my thumb, sleight of hand travel from my pinky to my thumb, sleight of hand travel from my pinky to my thumb. Okay. And now, back to where we were before. It's as though, like, if I could, like, edit the video of the trick, we could just, like, pick it up right here. And so, here we have sleight of hand, sleight of hand, sleight of hand, and sleight of hand. Now we have 4 sleight of hands all here. But I don't know if you knew, when you cut, you also cut to 4 very specific places because in order to play this card, you could play it normally or cheat it into play. And you happen to cut to a cheaty face, another cheaty face, another cheaty face, and another cheaty face. And not only that, you may think that, well, perhaps these are Magic the Gathering cards, and sure, you're limited to 4 per deck when when you're trying to build a deck. However, if you take a look at the rest of these cards, none of them are any other cards except for basic lands, and so there's no other duplicates of these cards. That's all there was. That's all she wrote. There we go. Okay. And that hand will keep. For anybody who plays Magic understands. Very esoteric Magic references. I mean, I guess if there's anyone who plays Magic, it's not that esoteric. But anybody who doesn't play it would probably consider that. So anyway, thank you so much for the redeem, Keo. Sorry I messed it up the first time. Although I'm sure, like the second time, that's what it should look like. And then I almost spoiled the surprise because if anybody caught that it was a cheaty face the first time when I flipped it, it's like shucks. But if this doesn't prove anything except that magicians are humans too and we can mess up. At that point, I don't know if I could have recovered because we were so deep in the trick. It was like the final reveal. So like, I don't think you can recover at that point. If I messed up before, I think I could have. But I mean, perfect cover story. Sleight of hand, blood, sweat, and tears. Practice. Not deals with the devil, or black magic, or sorcery. None of that. Anyway. Alright, guys. I think let's do a last call. If there's anybody who wants to see any more magic, get it in the queue, and we'll do a bunch. We'll do all of those tricks, and then we will figure out what we want to do for our finale, and then go from there. But actually, let me see what I want to do for the finale tonight. I think I want to do this one. And then, I see Charlie has requested. Thank you, Charlie. I would call this one a nom-original, the Twisting Picasso's Arm. Whoops. Ugh, man, I'm dropping cards all over the place. You know, when I do a gig, I move some stuff on the table, and I take up some more space. I actually haven't fully cleaned up from yesterday's gig yet, so. But let's see. Next up, and also I know Kung Fu. Yes, yes. And then let's see. I think I figured out what I want to do for the finale as well. Just throw that in there. But I won't close down the queue yet. I'll close it down probably after I do all the other checks. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and find... You know what? This will mess me up if I don't use the kings. So we'll do that. King, king, king. Okay, here we go. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, ready for that one, ready for this one, and then ready for that one. All right, excellent. And now I need to find something to represent red paint. Crap, where's the usual one that I use red? You know what? I will... Oh, that's an interesting idea. Charlie, I don't know if you just realized, but the fact that you just requested that trick, I was trying to do it the same old way I normally do it. And then I saw something like in my magic collection underneath the computer, and I just got this moment of inspiration, and I was like, so it's possibly an idea for a new trick. I can't improvise it because I think it would take some more planning than that. But like, actually, I'm gonna write this idea down before I forget it because it's actually relatively brilliant. So these are the moments. um, Alright, sorry, I just had to get that idea down because otherwise I would lose the brilliant idea. It's either that or I'd have to say it on stream, but then I spoil the whole trick for everybody. So I'd much rather just get it down. Okay. Alright. So so Charlie, I'm really glad you requested that just now. Because I think maybe if the circumstances were slightly different with just literally anything in front of me, I might have not had that idea. So great idea. Great idea. Okay. All right. Do I have just a here? Okay. I'll grab this one. All right. So here I have an ad break is starting soon. All right, great. let me let me uh let me just shh. I mean, it's okay. I had to stop because an ad break was going to start soon, and I was too busy. Man, the end of stream today. I'm getting a lot of humble moments. Anyway, so one of my friends is moving away from here. It's a little bit sad because he and I used to go to college together here in town. Actually, um, he's my probably the friend of mine that is most into disc golf. So he and I used to disc golf all the courses around here. But we went to college together here. After college, I stayed in town. He moved away. He got a job in the big city, got married, and then they were looking for a house. So a few years ago, they moved back. They moved here into town. They got a house, and they had a kid. And actually, this is the kid that inspired me to create my Android app. So if you remember I mentioned what hyperlexia was. Um, so this kid wasn't speaking, but they determined that he could read, and so I created the app to help my friend out. And honestly, like he was already so the other day he was telling me while we were playing Magic actually, he told me, "Yeah, my kid loves the app and wants to read more words." And I'm like, "Dude, that's awesome." And you know what? All the time and effort I put into creating the app, which honestly wasn't that much, was well worth it. Like so um but no, they want to move back to where they were from because they're going to be closer to their family. And I was a little bit bummed out, but I totally understand. So my family, as far as like my immediate family, like where I'm like dad, is great, right? I love my wife, love my kid. Um, but where like my immediate family, where I'm like the kid and like my parents and stuff, that's kind of like been a weird shattered family for many years, maybe decades at this point. Um, so anyway, I see that the ad break is finishing now. I don't know where this was going exactly, but I guess I was just trying to fill time, and these were just the thoughts where my mind was lingering. But it was just like, Happy Father's Day, and yeah, this is kind of. I did. So I did call my dad today, and I knew he was going to ask me this because the last time I spoke with him on the phone, he found out that I was no longer full time employed. But he asked, "Oh, did you get a job yet?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't gotten a job yet." And so and he was like, "Oh, you need to find a job." And I'm like, the thing I'm doing as a job right now is I'm doing magic, and I don't think he realizes how big or serious magic, like performance magic, is in my life. And so anyway, all right, here we go. So here we've got one, two, three, four. We have four black spot cards. And these are blue backed cards. So here we have one, two, three, four blue backed cards. But I have this red deck, and if I just pull some of the red paint onto my fingers and I paint one of these cards, it actually will turn from blue to red. I know, is that weird? That's super weird, right? But now, if I pull a little bit more, so there was one before, now there will be another one. So it's two red, right? And now you'll be able to see that there's three red. And of course, you will still see that there is a blue card here. However, what I want to do is let's go ahead and apply some more red paint, and then finally we will be able to see that all of the cards have become red backed cards because of the paint. However, not just that, not only are the backs painted, but we replaced those canvases on the front with portraits of different people as well. And that is Twisting Picasso's Arm. Thank you so much for that request. Charlie's Beats. Man, I've had so many restarts today. I guess I say that because normally I would say normally my statistics are pretty good. It just feels like it's bad tonight, but like if I just look at what I've done, there's like 15 tricks, maybe actually if I do this, that's like 15 tricks, only two of them. That's like it's still better than like 90%, right? So it's still not bad. I just have to look at the empirical data, right, and does not feel bad about it. Regardless, this is also practice. As I said before, I feel way better like messing up here. Like the fact that there's a counter for me to start over is probably means it's okay. Um, but yeah, this is what keeps me sharp for the real gigs. Like as I said yesterday, I messed up a rubber band trick, which I basically never like I almost never do comparative to card tricks. And I'm like, if I think about all the card tricks I did yesterday, I basically had like I had like one minor mess up, and other than that, like everything else was pretty immaculate, I'd say, for card tricks. So I should be proud and impressed with that, right? Because that's like 4 solid hours of magic, one messed up card trick in a minor way. That's an accomplishment. That I gotta pat myself on the back for that one. Thank you kindly for the claps. Felden Kane, Charlie's Beats. All right. Next up, we have I Know Kung Fu, as requested by Kyo Demon. All right. And so, we won't make a mistake this time. We're going to use Kyo Demon sign two of spades right away. And then we'll be using the four kings. And so, here we'll be placing Kyo Demon sign card here. And then we have red king, red king, black king, and then of course black king. We'll leave Kyo Demon sign card right there. Now, here's what we're going to do. Um, I'm going to go ahead and place the two black kings over here. We'll take the Q Demon sign two of spades in with the with the red king. So 1, 2, 3. All we have to do is grab it invisibly and have it reappear over here. I know, if that happened a little bit quick, you might have not realized that that's when it jumped. But that's okay. We'll do this trick again in maybe a slightly different way. So last time we actually turned all of the kings face down. This time I'll leave the black kings face up. And let's put Q Demon sign card right there just for a second. Let me see here. Okay, I need to find the other black king. This time we're going to do something different. We're going to go ahead and put Q Demon signed two of spades in between the two black kings. Just like this. Now, those two red kings are going to get smashed. And I don't know if you can tell, but those two red kings have become one card. And actually, they're no longer the two red kings because it is Demon's signed two of spades. Now, you're probably wondering where the two red kings, because if we look over here, there's only one card in between the two black kings. And well, if you just hold the edges of this card and just pull 1, 2, and 3, it becomes two cards. And there are the two red kings. And that, my friends, is how Keanu Reeves learned Kung Fu. Adam07950. Do we have to call Crazy Asian Daddy today? First of all, Adam, thank you so much for the 100 bits. Greatly appreciate it. And thank you for the daddy wishes. that sounds so wrong, by the way. um, but thank you kindly for the applause. Keo Demon, thank you for the claps. Felden Kane, Charlie's Beats. And Gibson Land says, you can call him daddy any day. Oh, man. Oh. What would my Twitch name be? Crazy Daddy? Would it look like this? Crazy Daddy. Anyway, lol. Anyway, classy. Daddy Azen. Yeah. Daddy A's. So I would keep the three N's. Mostly because for anybody who actually knows my full name, I have the three N's because my full name actually I have NNN as my three initials, so that's why I have the three N's there. So if that's something you didn't know, learn something about me today. You're gonna learn something about me today. No. Sorry, I was just channeling a comedian for some reason. A very specific comedian, and then I was referencing a specific joke. Felden Kane says, I thought Crazy Asian with one N and Crazy Asian with two N's were both taken. Lol. Oh, Felden Kane. You got it. Oh, man. Man, you guys are brutal today. In a good way. You're brutal in a good way. When has that ever been a good thing? All right, let's not explore that. I'm just gonna close the queue now. All right. All right. Let me unpin. Okay. All right. You know, it has now become that time. Thank you, everybody, for coming out and hanging out with me tonight. Thank you to everybody who interacted with the stream, whether you chatted in chat, requested a trick, did a sound alert, emojis, emotes, did a redeem, clicked on the heat map, picked a card, any of those things. If it wasn't for you guys, this wouldn't be as much fun for me. Thank you to all the lurkers out there, because magic is one of those rare art forms where if I'm practicing magic at home, there's no magic happening. The magic has to happen in your mind. Thank you to everybody who supported today. Thank you for the raids, Alchemutation and Rift VP. Thank you guys. Thank you so much to everybody who had a stream streak. We had Gibson Lens with the double 10 stream streak, which I'm super curious on whether like it triggered points 2 times, or if that was just like a weird, or if that's something that we figured out. It's like, oh, okay, that's cool. And also thank you, RandomMan29, for the 45 stream streak. Crazy. Also, Adam, thank you so much for the 100 bits. And as Gibson Len said, if you want to call me daddy any day, you are welcome. uh, all right. That Felden Kane with the Huma eyebrows. That is like maybe the perfect response. Oh man. Anyway, if anybody was curious, anything and everything that you saw on stream today, sleight of hand, blood, sweat, and tears, practice. It was not black magic, sorcery, or deals with the devil. If you believe it is that, best cover story ever, sleight of hand. I don't want the feds to dissect me, so there we go. Guys, if you're not following our friends and mods, please give all of our friends and mods a follow. If you're not following Chan the Magic Man, a fellow magician on Twitch, also streams magic, definitely give him a follow and catch him doing magic on Magic Mondays. If you catch him other times, he might be doing community games. He might be playing Grand Theft Auto. He might be playing. He might be doing things in real life. He might be cooking. All sorts of things. If you're not following our friend and mod Todd, aka Felden Kane, please give Felden Kane a follow. Felden Kane, playing variety games, cooking, all sorts of things. Definitely give Felden Kane a follow. Thank you for the shout out. You're welcome. If you're not following our friend and mod Gibson Lens, please give Gibson Lens a follow. Gibson Lens, pianist, composer, video game developer, and movie critic. I feel a cough. All right, definitely give Gibson Lens a follow. Gibson Lens has been destroying me in playing the guess if Gibson Lens likes this movie game. So I believe last week I got 1 out of 4 correct. So I'm not batting so well. All right, let's see. And then if anybody wants to see more of me and I'm not around, please check out my YouTube channel. I have over 360 magic tricks on my YouTube channel, and definitely just check out more magic. If you guys want to see when I go live, you can follow me here on Twitch. But if you want to see a notification, you can come join the Discord. I post random things that I come across all the time. We chat a little bit. It's not too crazy. It may look crazy because I have a lot of channels, but most of them are pretty quiet most of the time. So, but yeah. So there's the Discord, and then let's see. Anything else? I think that's it. If I mess up the finale trick, I don't like ending on a trick that I mess up on, so we're gonna do another finale trick. But if I do uh, the finale trick successfully, we'll raid out. I don't know what it is. I thought that I don't want to say the air is dry, although the big difference now is that I have 2 dehumidifiers running down in my basement instead of 1. But anyway, enough trying to make excuses. Let's go ahead and do this finale trick. Let me straighten this out because I did bump this a little bit. All right, here we go. An ad break is starting soon. All right, we're not going to rush through the ad break. I'll chill for a minute. I'm not in any major hurry, I guess. I also felt that cough coming on too, so I'm like, all right, let me just wait. Anyway, happy Father's Day for anybody who celebrates. Um, I had a pretty good, relatively productive, maybe not as relaxing day as I wanted, but it was a good day. Got to spend time with my kid. I mean, the fact that she read song titles to me, and I was like, oh my god, she knows how to read this. Super proud of her. Um, so 90 seconds. Yeah, I think if I sped run that trick, I might have been able to make it, but I don't know. I wouldn't have wanted to. So I'll just do it right the first time, and not speed through. Um, I will mention this if because we're in an ad break, so maybe most people won't get. So I had a bunch of people at the gig yesterday asking if I wanted product, and for the most part, because of my philosophy about the smoking thing, I basically had to say no. But when I mentioned like the gummies, somebody wanted to give me gummies, so I took home some gummies. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them, but I do technically. I might want to share them with my board game buddies because not last time, but like about a year ago, I think we had a nice board game night where everybody partook in some gummies, and so maybe I'll share them with my friends. But anyway, so there's that, and then I have another gig this week. I have a gig on Thursday. It was kind of like a weird day because this felt it wasn't quite last minute, but it was like more. It felt and Gaines got the bop bop, and that is a perfect. That's a perfect emote for for describing the thing. But yeah, I've got a gig on Thursday, and they're not quite last minute, but compared to like other gigs I've been booking, it was kind of last minute because it was like 3 weeks ahead instead of like months. But it's gonna be relatively close by, so I won't have to drive that far away because these last two were like an hour drive away. This one is only like less than a half an hour, and it's gonna be relatively short, like 45 minutes. And honestly, most of the cost is like to get me out there, and it's like I may just end up performing for like an hour for them just because if you guys couldn't tell, I like magic, I like performing magic. I also like watching magic, but I found that I haven't watched as much lately in the past, like, I'd say the last year, I've watched a lot less magic than I have performed, so. Alright, so now that I've finished that thought, let's go ahead and attempt to do the. Now, this one, I'm not going to count as a mulligan or a do-over. It was literally, I saw the ad break thing. I'd barely done anything, so anyway. Here we go. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 cards, and these are the 4 aces. So here we've got a red ace here, and then we have a red ace here, and so I'm going to leave them here. Now, we have the black aces here, but if I was to go ahead and grab the red aces, not physically, but maybe spiritually, and I put them into my hand, where would you say the red aces are now? Some people who don't believe that I'm doing any magic, they would still say down here. For anybody who's following along with the plot of the magic trick, the red aces are now over here. And now I would ask, where are the black aces? A lot of people will naturally go over here, but remember, all I did was take the red aces away and place them here. I never took the black aces to put them here. And so if we take a look, there's actually no aces here at all. And now if I go ahead and I take the red aces and I blow them away, I don't know if you can tell, but now all of the aces have disappeared because if I show you, there's no aces to be found anywhere. And that, my friends, I will call a successful finale. All right. Woo! Thank you kindly for the claps, Felden Kane. And with that, we can find somebody to raid. Thank you kindly for the claps, Charlie's Beats. Yeah, I think a couple of you might have noticed I have not been on Twitch much the last 2 weeks because I was kind of prepping for these for these big gigs. And surprisingly, this whole doing a business for yourself thing is a little bit it does keep you a little bit busy. So I will confess I do have to focus on doing um, my website for me because I haven't focused on it the last couple weeks. So I need to do it. I need to do it. I need to do it now. I need to get to the chopper. Sorry, that just came out. I don't know where they came from. Okay, maybe I do know where they came from, but ooh, hold on. I see somebody that maybe we haven't rated for a while. Let me see how long they've been going. Uh, oh, they've been going for a while. Okay, but maybe we can raid them anyway because we never get a chance to raid them. Actually, let me just double check the spreadsheet and see when the last time because we have rated them before. It has been over a year, 14 months. Yeah, I think we should raid them. All right, guys. Green guy. Ooh, good guess. No, I am thinking of Meow 2, so we can go ahead and raid Meow 2. So, guys, we want to come along for the raid. Here's a raid call. Here, here's a sub raid call. Uh, that was my second guess. I totally would have guessed that would have been your second guess. So yeah. Here's the raid target, Meow 2, and now let's go ahead and I'll activate the raid. So Meow 2 is a magician, not a magician. Meow 2 is a musician. Man, even I'm mixing it up. I know other people mix it up all the time, but you know what? I almost never, and now I did. It's all right. So, but anyway, also he's got Happy Father's Day in the title of his, and apparently he's also on vacation doing music requests. So, but I got a chance to meet Meow 2 at TwitchCon Vegas back in 2023 when I went to TwitchCon, and so yeah. So let's go over to. Oh, hold on, I have to copy my own raid call before I forget. Anyway, um, thank you kindly for coming to hang out with me tonight. Thank you everybody for watching tricks, interacting, staying, hearing me talk. I feel like I talked a lot more tonight than most nights. Um, Thank you to everybody who wished me a happy Father's Day. Thank you to everybody for just hanging out and coming out. And thank you for everybody who supported. Thank you to everybody who's still here. And remember to hydrate, remember to stretch, remember to get good sleep because as we all know, it's really hard to get good sleep nowadays. So take care, and we'll see you guys. All right. Bye.